Welcome to the Wrap-Up, a VR live stream focused on keeping you up to date with the adoption of universal profiles and growth of the new creative economy. Join us as we uncover the fusion of technology, artistry, and innovation that's redefining how we create, share, and experience in this digital age. It's time to wrap it up. Welcome back to the Wrap-Up, everyone. Today's October 27th, the year 2023. And before we dive into today's show, take a moment to click that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps a ton and ensures that you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Alts, how's it?
Hello on this Friday before Hallows Eve. I hope everyone's doing great. I've most certainly got a bit of staking on the brains lately, and I'm loving it. Actually, last night I actually cooked a medium rare steak for my friend. They said, I like it. Well done. I said, thanks. That means a lot. But you know, actually, the night did progress. I actually do believe now that my friend is a vampire. I stabbed him in the heart with the wooden stake and he died.
All right, man.
Vampire confirmed.
So if you haven't noticed, what we're going to do is we're going to do really cheesy stand-up from now until, I don't know, sometime a little before 2 p.m. Eastern. So get ready for it, everyone.
It's never too early for bad jokes.
Love it. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Our top story today is, if you haven't guessed us or guessed at this point, staking. And no, not the kind that goes through a vampire's heart. To Alts's point, but rather the staking that powers the consensus layer of the LUKSO network. Before we get to that top story, however, let's hear from our friends and sponsors over at LEEQUID, our preferred liquid staking solution for the LUKSO blockchain. LEEQUID is a liquid staking solution purposely built for the LUKSO blockchain. Users can stake LYX tokens and in return, earn receipt SLYX tokens redeemable one-to-one for the deposited LYX. LEEQUID notably offers flexibility, allowing users to opt in or out of staking at any moment via the protocol's liquidity pool. This feature removes the potentially extensive wait times typically associated with traditional staking methods. With the support of advisors and multi-signatories from the LUKSO team, LEEQUID is steadfast in its commitment to achieving decentralization from the beginning, underlining transparency and trust. Following a thorough audit by consensus, LEEQUID is set to launch in October, integrating suggestions to ensure a seamless and secure user experience. Don't forget to follow LEEQUID on Twitter to stay updated on opportunities for earning passive rewards and contributing to the security of the LUKSO blockchain. Well, Alts, the sponsor read there says that LEEQUID would be launching in the middle of October. I think we need to update that because that brings us to our first tweet of the day. LEEQUID says, we're live, surprise. They said they'd be live in the middle of October, and you know what? They hit their mark, which is fantastic. They are the first liquid staking solution for the LUKSO blockchain. Alts, how you feeling about that?
Feeling great about it, fam. Like, so many people that are not as technically savvy, right, have been anxious to, put their tokens to work and to get to staking. And the platform itself is like, man, it's just so well done. It's smooth, it's sleek, it's intuitive. Like, literally anyone could connect their wallet and kind of easily just kind of work their way through it and figure out how to start staking, earn rewards, checking the status of those rewards to claim them, etc. Makes it easy to roll those rewards back into, more staking and stuff like that. It was just really well executed overall. I love how it turned out.
Yeah, and my brother, who I mentioned him a lot because he is a harsh critic of all things. He's like the opposite to me, certainly.
The yang to your yin. Maybe.
Yeah, right. So he told me, he goes, excellent product, well done, very simple UX. As an Ethereum user, this was super simple to figure out, use, and get the token staked in. And I would have to agree.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, this reminds me of this concept of this piece of art that I put together. It is on my mind for a while, and I was just kind of waiting for the launch to go ahead and create this thing, because I know we got some steak fam out there. Shout out Jack, shout out Beef, and some others who love a good steak.
Yeah, don't forget our friend Jordy Dutch, who also likes a nice grilled protein. At some point, we're definitely going to get together as a community, and I'm going to enjoy the steak put out by others.
For sure. We need steak night.
Steak night. All right. Okay, so I guess that brings us to record screech. I don't know if that's a record screeching sound,
That
but
was terrible.
important announcement. Liquid has temporarily paused the contract staking function due to reaching levels close to 33% of the total staked LYX token. And they said, as of this morning, they're coordinating with LUKSO and will resume staking once our network representation drops to an acceptable level. Alts.
Wow,
Thoughts?
that was so fast. Was that like 3 days? And I
Yeah.
know some people are even still cautious, like making sure they do things properly and kind of take their time. But like even with that in mind, like yeah, it filled up so fast. I'm thankful that the team at Liquid, we know were ready and acted very quickly to curb that threshold. And I love to see the continued coordination, with the Luxo team as well to figure out the best path forward.
Yeah, I think this speaks to pent up demand in the community. A lot of people have been sitting on the Lux token, whether it be the ERC20 Lux E token or the migrated Lux token, for months and months and months and months. And they've been begging to do something with it. Liquid came up with a high quality product, easy to use. So, of course, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to go in because they want to transact on this new network. What I really think, I think it's time for us. To take this conversation to a little deeper level with the network update.
Let's do it.
So traditionally in the network update, we give you the numbers from the LUKSO staking launchpad, and then we move over to lux.tools, and the numbers are fairly congruent. This time here, you're going to see that there is actually a considerable difference between the two, noting if you take note of the total number of validators, you can see the total number of validators here is in that 77,000 range, and the APR is about 9.8%, with the total Lux staked about 2.5 million Lux. Flipping over to Lux.tools, I'm going to actually bring up, this is generously sponsored by Vlad Lakonis, developer for Universal Page, with his own time and money. And curiously enough, or interestingly enough, this is the provably first DApp on the LUKSO blockchain, which is kind of cool. The total number of validators you can see here that Lux.tools is reading out is actually over 100K. Wow.
Wow.
Right. And the validator queue has jumped to 25 days.
Wow.
so what we're seeing here is we're seeing all the people that have piled into Liquid, and Liquid is now there. There's definitely a long queue and wait for these validators to become active on the network. Actually, over 23,000 validators waiting for the time being. Now, this is where that discussion gets a little bit deeper here, Alts, because you can see the distribution percentage as labeled on Lux.tools has started to fall a little bit. And you can see down below, you've got one slice of the pie, that purple slice of the pie that's getting pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to further this conversation, I think it's really important for us to bring up a comparison between two pie charts if we're going to really have this conversation right now. So, Rob, I think we need to go to that comparative between the LUKSO pie chart and then the Ethereum pie chart. On the left, you can see the Ethereum pie chart. That is the distribution of validators across, like, basically staking providers. On the right, you can see, or stakers. On the right, you can see we have LUKSO. Each one of the pink slices on LUKSO correlates to a withdrawal address, so to speak. That's how it was explained by Vlad. You can see, you can think of that, all those pink slices, as probably like individuals or small groups of individuals working together. A lot of the small slices are going to be your home stakers. We want to see a lot of small slices, like in that white out area. The purple slice is Liquid. You can see that Liquid, I mean, you have a lot of validators that are inside of Liquid right now. And it all goes to one withdrawal address, which is the multi-sig that's guarded by the 7 guardians from Liquid. I think it's important here. I'm going to bring this up, Alts, and then I'll shut up here. We can talk about it. Look on the
No, you're
left.
good.
On the left, you have Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, 31% of the Ethereum blockchain, the validators on the Ethereum blockchain are owned by Lido. Now, Lido is another staking pool. It's a pooled staking service over on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's similar to Liquid. We won't speak to the tech side, but just the general idea that it's a pooled staking service, and we'll get a little deeper into that in a second. But you can also see there are some other entities at play here. We've got Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, right? And I guess I'll throw it over to you all. Notice what is missing from the LUKSO pie chart right now. Like after I just said Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance.
Right. Yes. There's definitely some other, pooled staking options missing there. But we're a new network. We're kind of doing it step by step, right? So of course, these are some of the hurdles that we kind of face. And even before we got to this, before Liquid went live, you could say that we were still a bit centralized to some degree because just the distribution of tokens is still not amazing because we're so early, right? Obviously, as price eventually moves, so do tokens, and distribution gets further spread out. But yeah, it's going to be really nice when we have a bigger chunks similar to Ethereum. But it is really interesting to note, with the Lido. Concerning Lido, I think that's been a discussion in the Ethereum network for a long time now, and I still don't know that there's any sort of consensus on the best approach for them to take. What are your thoughts on kind of Lido's stance right now?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give that in a second here. I want to, before I move on to Lido in particular, there are 3 ways that you can get involved as a staker in this Ethereum 2.0 model of the EVM. You can be a solo staker, like an at-home staker. You're running your own hardware at home. You've gone through either like a Dappnode solution, or you've gone through the LUKSO CLI, the command line interface, and you are running that machine at your house. And that's like the most decentralized way to do it, right? It makes the network most anti-fragile. If we could have every single validator running their own hardware, it would make the network the most decentralized. But there are requirements for that, and there are technical requirements for that. You have to be able to run your own hardware. You could stake through staking as a service. That staking as a service provider, that would be like through exchanges. Like, it's the easiest way to think of it. Like, some of you might be staking Ethereum on Coinbase or Binance or Kraken. They are running, again, all the hardware behind the scenes. You may have some key management. There's a number of different ways to do it. And then the third way is that pooled staking solution that, like Lido, or in this case, Liquid, is offering. Pooled stakers, just so you know, with Liquid, pooled stakers accrue rewards. What am I trying to say? You're going to accrue rewards just like you would as a home staker, but it's really up to the decision of the protocol, like Liquid, whether or not they're going to distribute any of the MEV, the miner extracted value, or any of the block rewards as things go forward.
I think, beyond rewards, I think it's important to kind of, touch on the risks, for each option as well. So for instance, like the solo staking, like, your token is at risk, right? Like, as you stake, because, there are penalties which, would cost you ETH or LUKSO, for going offline if you don't maintain, your node. Malicious behavior can result in slashing, of larger amounts, and forced ejection from the network if you really don't, if you really fall off. The staking as a service option, it's going to have some risks as well. It has the same, similar risks to the solo staking, plus there's like counterparty risks of that service provider. The use of your signing key, you kind of have to entrust that to someone else that could behave maliciously. That's just, centralization in general. You always kind of run that risk. And then even with the pooled staking, there's some risks as well, varying depending on the method used. But in general, it's kind of, consists of the combination of that counterparty smart contract and execution risk kind of wrapped up in one. So, they each have their own risks and rewards. So it's just kind of, it's nice to have a combination of all, I believe. And it kind of, whatever you're capable of, is kind of where you want to fall.
Thank you for rescuing me from the rabbit hole I was about to fall into, because risks is a great way to kind of parse this thing. Usually if you're running your own hardware at home, you need 32 LUKS to run a validator. a lot of times with staking as a service in the Ethereum world, you're going to need 32 ETH because we don't have staking as a service here for LUKSO right now. So you need these full sets of stake. With pooled staking, you do not, right? So that's the attractiveness, especially for people who may not have a full validator, like a full 32 Lux stake that they could put up in a validator. They're able to enter the pool with any amount. And that's, a generalized benefit. So there is just like a general idea of what it looks like from a staking perspective. Again, if you go back to those pie charts after this episode and you really look at it, right now, LUKSO is not in a bad position. Thanks, Rob, for throwing it up there. You can see that it is fairly decentralized still. If LEEQUID didn't do something, there would be an opportunity for people to keep piling in. And now, I mean, we would not want LEEQUID to exceed that 33% threshold. That's numbers enumerated by the Ethereum Foundation as like an unsafe number. Lido, interestingly enough, is at 31%. And you asked me, how do I feel about Lido? And there's a real difference here between how Lido and how LEEQUID have handled this approaching that 33% number. Lido actually said, we don't want to limit it and we're not going to limit it, right? Because if we limit it and we say we're not going to go above 33%, someone might come in and just do it anyway. So why would we stop? Which I don't know if that's the right decision, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Like it's kind of made this big hubbub. If you are again following this discussion in the Twitterverse or on X, but basically we want to contrast that with the action that LEEQUID took here. So we can go actually to a tweet from Fabian now. So Fabian said, in addressing the situation, this is important. People want convenience, but it's really risky for the network to exceed that 33%. And he thanked LEEQUID for being responsible. Okay. And that can't be understated. Like, they didn't have to pause this contract. They could have left this thing open and really, I don't know, maybe jeopardized the network, right? And who knows what would have happened long term? Who knows like how much jeopardy the network would be in? There are a lot of risks associated with that 33% that you can really dig into and research. What I really want to highlight, and I guess that's the point of this conversation here, is that LEEQUID acted in a responsible manner, honoring the care, basically honoring the community, honoring the team, honoring this overall ecosystem by limiting the amount of staked Lux that they are willing to take on at this point, because they've approached the threshold that they're just not comfortable exceeding. Right, Alts?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well said, Fabian. There, it is extremely important. And yeah, I mean, the community appreciates Liquid's stance, and instead of having like what Lido did, and it's like just kind of creates turmoil and discussion that just kind of keeps churning. It's like no, they stopped, they like squelched it right away. Just for the betterment of the network and for the safety of the network, which I thoroughly appreciate. And and Fabian also goes on to say there, if you do have some technical understanding, go get yourself a Dappnode and homestake as well. So actually, that brings us to a tweet from Dappnode. They actually launched a fusion of elegance and strength, with this bespoke custom Dappnode, with the LUKSO logo on it, and it's a beautiful piece. So this is one option to kind of spread out the network further. They launched it. They launched it. It also includes, for the first 100, I believe it includes 4 validators. So that's 128 licks ready to go, which is such a nice way to get going. And if also if you want to save money, or if if you already have your own hardware or want to build your own, you can also, get yourself like a NUC and set it up with the Dappnode software, which is one great thing that they actually allow as well. And they have a pretty solid guide that kind of walks you through some videos on YouTube, help you get through the process. I'm not super technically savvy myself when it comes to staking, and I'm going through the process of setting up my own hardware with the Dappnode software to kind of do my part in helping spread this out a bit. But installing the Dappnode ISO, and it's like there's something called an unattended version for for the newbies. I think that kind of does a lot of defaulting for the process and just kind of makes it a little bit easier. So I think there's definitely some options that aren't super crazy out there. So it's it's good. It's good. I love what Dappnode's doing.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if these 100 boxes went out to people, we'd go from 306 nodes to 406 nodes if people got these running. That immediately is going to spread out, again, further decentralize the network and achieve that god tier staking, which is home staking, right? That is the most decentralized way to do that. You would think that Liquid as a staking pool might say, no, we don't want that to happen. We want to vacuum all of the Lux out there, or any staking pool might act that way, but that's not the case. Actually, Liquid said, we stand with Dappnode on this one. Network decentralization should be prioritized wherever possible. Ideally, the network needs as many solo hardware stakers as possible. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that and still wish to stake, we're here for you. Which, you know what? I actually run my own hardware at home. I'm a solo staker and I have Lux in Liquid. I think that if you're capable of running your own solar hardware, it's something that you should really consider doing, especially if you're really invested in this ecosystem. And by invested, I don't necessarily mean monetarily invested, but I mean like invested with your heart, invested with that piece of your being that's pink, right, Holtz? You know,
your pink soul, right? Like we're all pink on the inside. But yeah, shout out Liquid for chiming in on this, right? Like it's indeed up to us to get the work running, more nodes until things, do get more distributed. And we're going to be rewarded nicely for that, right? So it's a great APR still, so we are LUKSO, right? So everything we can each do individually to kind of help support the network, I think it's great.
yeah, without a doubt. So looking, again, calling back to that initial pie chart, we had one liquid staking service provider there, and then the rest were really just, I mean, by and large, the ones that we can label are home stakers, or maybe small groups of stakers running one machine or multiple machines. But we didn't have like another entity, another pool that you could enter, another service provider. But the Stakingverse actually had an announcement this week. Their Ethereum liquid staking pool powered by StakeWise V3 is actually coming online very, very soon. And they're looking out into Q1 to provide a LUKSO pool. And this, again, will just provide more options for the community and further help to spread the stake out across the network and help everybody out. And what's interesting about the Stakingverse, I'll plug it right here. If you go to the Stakingverse website, you can actually use a discount code from the Stakingverse website. It's Verse 100, VERSE 100, and purchase a Dappnode through their website and get a nice little discount. So if you were considering purchasing a Dappnode, but you were just short of a little bit of money, you can take advantage of their offer there. So thank you, team at Stakingverse, for providing that to the community.
Yeah, that's a great little coupon there. And it's going to be nice to have another option to, add into the mix for stakers, as we discussed. It'll be much needed moving forward. And yeah, let's get up into the right.
Also, I'm laughing because I just spaced out watching that
Yeah.
image. I normally do a read over the top of it. So up into the right, we provide a weekly review of the markets from a LUKSO perspective. We give you a range of prices, as you can see here in front of you. We even give you the market cap goal, which we've established at a humble top 100. You can see if we wanted to be in the top 100 right now, you need a price of $11. That's higher than it was last week. What does that tell you? We're being ratioed a little bit by the overall crypto market, but there are reasons for that. And honestly, I don't think that that's a scenario, or that's an environment that's going to persist long term. What you hear in this podcast from here on in, just please remember, is just our opinion and not professional financial advice. We're not experts. If you need specific advice, please ask someone who's a professional in that area. Listen at your own risk, and always double check before making decisions based upon what we talk about. This might be the first chart in a while, Alts, that looks a little bit up and to the right. No?
Right. Yeah. Remember, never financial advice. But yeah, you're right. It feels like, yeah, we're a little bit slow getting, we're still in this consolidation phase as the rest of the market, but that's kind of the way it works. Like when I kind of like to imagine like this galaxy, right? It's like Bitcoin is the black hole at the center. And then as you go further out, into the arms of the galaxy, it's like they take longer to, to move sometimes, but, they move more extreme, in both directions. So it's like we got to be a little more patient, but then, the ceiling is getting raised in the meantime. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, how it plays out. But yeah, it's, the ceiling, that the roof's getting raised. So the potential, continues to have the upside. And yeah, the chart is kind of shaping up a little bit more up and to the right, right?
Up and to the right. You can't see my arm. We got a tweet from Balaji, and he says, "Don't worry, this is the cycle where things get serious." He goes, "Think about social media. It was a fad, then it's a bubble. Suddenly it's a threat to democracy because it freed speech. Bitcoin is similar. First a fad, then a bubble. Now it'll be taken seriously because it frees markets." I'm going to extend on this just a little bit, Alts. I think we might actually, you could add a third layer to this. It'd be with smart contracts, right? First a fad, then a bubble with a bunch of shitty NFT PFPs. And,
For sure.
and now we're going to be taken seriously, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to harken back to this adage that I love, like Internet 1.0, it was all only about consuming, right? You download a page, it would take a super long time, and then you consume whatever material was there. That was all you could do. And then, Internet 2.0, brought us social media, right? So we actually had the ability to contribute to the content as well that people were consuming. Probably mostly not great content, but we were doing our part to add to the mess out there. And then, version 3 brought us Bitcoin, right? Which actually opened up this new paradigm where it allowed us to own value on the internet, right? We got to where we were using the internet for so many things, but you still couldn't, there was no way to actually have value stored on the internet, but now we do with Bitcoin, right? And then that next wave, I see, 4.0 is going to bring us the ability to actually build and own our identities on the internet, because that's one thing we still don't own or are able to craft, anything sustainable, forward thinking. I think that's what LUKSO is going to unlock, for that next, generation. Maybe Ethereum's kind of like that 3.5 that kind of falls in between, with smart contracts, kind of opens the gate, but it's mostly just been that same monetary value up to this point.
I don't think I'm ready to say Web 4 yet, although you kind of teased it there. People would be like, wait, what happened to Web 3? I thought we were in Web 3, that buzzword. But it's definitely feels like this is the cycle where we really start to use the internet in a powerful way, in a way that is liberating for the individual instead of siloing of the individual,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Imprisoning. And we might have even had some sweet news, Alts, no?
Oh, yeah, we do. We got something from Universal Profiles, the ERC725A account profile. Like, I love it. Universal Profiles are planned to release on November 8th. That is T-minus 12 days, fam. Yeah, they said to create a realistic expectation, they're going to be releasing the browser extension for mainnet, a new recovery service, the transaction relay service, which is going to help subsidize, by the fancy foundation. It's going to subsidize, new users into the blockchain. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. And they expect other dApps within the ecosystem to release within the weeks after that. So yeah, I am super excited to also see what other kind of dApps are ready to roll out.
Pumped. And that was actually expressed by the founder of one of the dApps that we should see early on, Jake Prinz, this morning in the MetaHeads chat, where he said he's very excited to see what comes online because UPage is ready to go. And, if you're thinking to yourself, well, now we got to wait to meet all these new people who might be developing dApps. Well, we've got a hackathon. Bittlebox actually is co-hosting a hackathon with LUKSO, Build Up #2. Jake Prinz from Universal Page. He came out of the very first hackathon, as Fabian said yesterday, kind of jokingly, hackathon 0, hack your profiles with UPage. Now we're into the third hackathon, even though it's labeled 2. So let your brain spin that one around. And we're going to see, who knows, interesting stuff. I don't even know what's going to come out of this hackathon, but what I do know is it's the first time that we've had a hackathon where the developers can test on testnet and then bring their project to mainnet with no delay. That is exciting.
Who hasn't heard about that? You're late to the party.
Oh yeah, it is
yeah.
super exciting to have that wave where they could roll out, develop, and just go straight into mainnet. That's going to be so cool. Because that's what we want, man. We want to be able to have use cases start using these new standards and kind of showcasing to the rest of the space what we're all about. Shout out Bittlebox. They had a great spaces with Fabian. It was a couple days ago. And I really enjoyed that one. I often think there's no way. How do I get more bullish on LUKSO long term? And then I hear Fabian speak for a while, and this time more in depth about how these standards are going to change the space. And I really loved the conversation when we kind of went in, he kind of dove into the impact on SocialFi and Web3 gaming with universal profiles. Like, oh my God, that's going to be so amazing. Like, and the space was recorded, so I highly recommend giving it a listen if you haven't checked it out yet. And thanks, Fabian. He actually gave us a nice shout out to Pink Pill Productions, so we appreciate that support.
Yeah, he was very authentic in this space. I appreciated the tone in his voice. I appreciated that when the host was actually following the narrative that's been out in the space that LUKSO is just for the fashion world. It's a fashion focused blockchain. And Fabian actually led us into the internal world there a little bit and said, actually, we're much more than that. We've just been building under that cover because we knew that people wouldn't pay as much attention if we were reduced to just fashion. The vision of the team's pretty expansive. The words here are really powerful. I think this is one of the better times I've ever heard Fabian talk, because I think his genuineness came through in this Twitter space, Alts.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, it feels like there's this behemoth under the surface that we just haven't seen yet. So yeah, they're really exciting times as things start getting, upsiding. But actually, another thing coming up is on November 18th, we've got a meetup number 2, right? Which is account abstraction is here at the Soho House in Istanbul during Dev Connect. So it's going to be another great event, and more devs getting pink pill, which we love to see because we want to have builders. We want to see some new devs coming in to utilize these amazing standards. And it looks like they're going to be having a live stream going as well for the fam. So that's wonderful.
Oh man, if you can attend in person, which it would be lovely to attend in person, but if you can't, it's nice that they make sure that you feel welcome. Just like with meetup number 1, there's the opportunity to participate from the outside. And then for these events in person, I like how the team really makes them their own. It's not just your typical developer event where everyone's going to sit on folding chairs and just listen to speakers in front of them. They really try to put their stamp on it, make it comfortable, make sure people are interacting with one another. So I appreciate these guys a lot.
Yeah, pink is a lifestyle, and they embody that every time.
Pink is a lifestyle. So these aren't the only places where the team is speaking. We actually have Louis O'Connor from the team at Next Block Expo in Berlin, where he's going to be, again, representing LUKSO as the head of talent. The more people who can speak passionately about this project across many, many different arenas, the better off this is going to be, because we're all spreading the message, right? We all are LUKSO. No one person is LUKSO. I love that message from Fabian from the Twitter space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shout out Louis. He's going to be repping LUKSO at the Next Block Expo in Berlin. And actually, there's a nice mix of projects that are getting represented there. Of course, we got LUKSO, Polygon, Maker, Polkastarter, Cosmos, Binance, and a few other really recognizable names as well. So, and actually, one of those brands actually leads us into Speculation Nation.
Super hot fire. So speculation here. We may be reading a lot into this tweet, but this is for the fam. This will be good. Sadly, I won't be able to come. What's he speaking about? He's not going to be in Istanbul for Dev Connect. So if you were going to Dev Connect and hoping to hang out with Fabian, it might not happen. What a bummer. He does say, however, he might be at the Binance conference, Istanbul, the week before, which he's been at Binance conferences before. But the part that we're speculating on is, look at that winky face. What's he winking about?
Yeah, Speculation Nationers mount up. Like, I know the LUKSO fam has been clamoring for a tier 1 since forever. We most definitely, we know we need the liquidity, and of course it would help, with recognition, getting on more people's radars and ultimately leading, to more distribution and more decentralization, which would be great. So it's just definitely, it's a matter of when, not if. But could this be it, right? Only time will tell. I do love that wink at the end. That's such a great way to, let us speculate on some stuff. Because that's what we do.
Either he did it intentionally And we're all like, okay, I can see the sign. Or he just did it in there as a one-off, and then everyone in the community were going nuts. We're like, the winky face. I know what he meant by the winky face.
For sure. We will literally find any crumb we can to speculate on. That's just what crypto degens do.
Yeah.
Which leads us into some other form of degen, the pink degenery.
Almost everything I have on is pink, and it's my favorite.
Let's check out the Pinkest Tweet.
When Lux is trading at 3 to 500 USD and a validator cost 12 to 20 grand, don't come telling Tomb that he didn't shill you a Lux validator at 160. The current price of an ETH validator is over 57K. 32 Lux is all it takes. Hashtag pink pill. Okay. Again, none of this is financial advice. So please, we're not, I'm never going to tell you that Lux is going to go to $300 to $500. That would be inappropriate of me. But I can tell you the energy of that Pepe pink wizard down there is kind of how I wake up almost every day. So that's why it's in here.
Yeah, this Pepe pink wizard embracing the chain. I want to get embrace the chain pajamas like that now. It's great. But yeah, Tomb has been bringing the heat with some LUKSO tweets lately. Loving that fam. And yeah, I mean, I think it's always great just to compare the price of an Ethereum validator versus a LUKSO, just to give you some perspective on how early we still are, fam. Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yes, never financial advice, but yeah, I love it. Next up, we got one from Louis, catching up on the last couple of wrap-ups with ETH and alt. So this one, actually, I like to call Pinkception.
Hey,
it's
me.
Us. It's us talking about Louis, tweeting about us, talking about Louis, talking about us. Think about it.
Oh, man. It's like caving my brain. Louis, thanks for the support. I'm glad that you checked it out. And as always, like, keep it pink, bro. And
I think we should then add this next week to have like another layer.
Yeah, do it again. What this could be a running joke here. This could be a running joke. All right, cool. And the next tweet we got it from Melosi, longtime community member, uber cool guy, loves jazz clubs with Yellow Turtle and Sage. I love this one. I like the style of art. Again, pink is a lifestyle. The AI generated art in this community is absolutely top notch. So perfect.
Yeah, I'm still kicking myself for passing on Jazz Night that night. I heard it was amazing. Next time, guys. Next time you got me, I'm gonna ride with you. But yeah, I loved it. I love this one. It's beautiful. Together we build up. Right. It's a great piece, and it kind of embodies just kind of what the phase that we're at. We're all working together to try to make this thing work.
Yep.
Next up, we've got one from the Banana Rat. Love this one. Origami pink. Right. The banana was here, and the banana was pink.
I love how it's lo-fi and also not at the same time, right? Because that tiger or like low poly, that's what I mean to say. It's like low poly, but also not at the same time, but it's blended beautifully. Like, it's cool. I like this piece.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I would love that like in a like if it was an actual origami, like in a glass case, that would be freaking sick. Like to hang on the wall, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that actually leads us into our winner for this week. Comes from Jay Hugh from Canvas Land and LUKSO. Well done on this beautifully generated AI art. I love the moving imagery there is great. This is an epic piece. Well done, fam.
And you know what makes me so excited? If Jay Hugh has a universal profile on November 9th, we could drop a trophy to because we're going to start giving these things out. You can win the Pinkest Tweet. It'll actually mean something. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Universal profiles, identity, and reputation. We can start building out our reputation online, on chain, fam. Like, it has not existed before. This is a new novel thing, and it will be amazing.
Yep. All right. So that takes us to the last segment of the show today, visual learning.
I'm just gonna let that one sit there for a minute. It's if you want to learn German, this is kind of the embodiment of it. Let's just see if we can you even say the 555 there, Eve?
Funder, dun fig.
That's
Funzig.
actually pretty good. That's pretty good. Funzig.
I don't know, man. I'm folding up the lawn chair and going away.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to speak German. It's like way too complicated. Unfortunately, I'm an American. I have exactly one language that I can speak.
Yeah.
God
the
bless you.
travesty of being raised in America is we just literally are never taught any other foreign languages.
Yeah.
We have some in school, but it's like it's very minimal and kind of useless.
Yeah.
So, I would love to be able to speak German, but I feel like the learning curve might be pretty difficult.
Funder, sig. Funder.
But that's now my favorite German word.
Oh, perfect. That one's a good one.
Yeah.
You want to take one more crack at it, Alts?
No, I'm good. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
All right. Perfect. I'd love to hear someone who's German say that to me.
Actually, tell us how we're supposed to say that. Yeah.
Correct us. Put us to shame, please. Okay. That brings us to the last tweet for today. When somebody says, "Is there a danger?" someone copies LUKSO. Interesting. Is there a danger? Someone copies LUKSO.
I don't think so. You clearly don't know who you're talking to. So let me clue you in. I am not the danger. Say my name.
If you haven't ever seen Breaking Bad, I suggest you watch that series. It's really iconic. This is a face swap with Fabian as Heisenberg. And this is kind of the energy that Fabian has. Oh, wouldn't be an episode without my hand doing that.
Oh, yeah. Raise your hand if you're sure. But yeah, kind of paraphrasing Walter White here. Well, technically, blockchain is the study of standards, but I prefer to see it as a study of change.
Ooh. Okay, mic drop, walking away.
Yeah. I love that vibe. And yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the show. Before we head out, Eth, I got one more terrible Halloween joke for you.
If people only tuned in the first 2 minutes and then are coming back right now, they're going to think we really did go for 40 plus minutes of crappy one-liners. Go ahead.
One day we'll do it. I'll just stack them up. All right. So why don't skeletons ever go trick-or-treating?
I want to say that they don't have a bag. They don't have muscles to hold the bag.
Close. You're in the ballpark. They have no body to go with.
Clever. That one's a clever one.
It is clever. Yeah.
That one's clever. Yep. That's a good one.
I got that off a piece of Laffy Taffy.
You're the only person I know who eats Laffy Taffy.
I just do it for the jokes. I consume a bag a week just to rip some jokes.
Laffy Taffy's like that candy that I've had once. I mean, I've eaten it many times, but I refuse to eat it because every time I try to eat it, it gets stuck to my teeth. And I don't have any fillings, amazingly, but if I did, they'd pull them out.
They would be gone. Yeah, in no time. But yeah, no, I hope everyone has a great Friday. Remember, the hackathon starts on the 30th, fam. And remember, Universal Profiles go live on the 8th. So yeah. Any last words before I head out?
Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because one of these days we might just do a full hour of shitty stand-up.
You don't want to miss that, fam. But yeah, I hope everyone's Friday is going great. Thanks for the fam who tuned in live. We always appreciate you. And thanks for those comments. And for the rest of you catching us on your own time, we appreciate you too. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great Halloween, fam, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hey, and do us a favor and stay pink.